welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today I have the biggest unboxing I have ever done on the channel. This is Dante's Inferno. I know there's some glare here. We're going to take this shrink wrap off here in just a second. This box is bigger than anything I have in my collection. Even the it's certainly bigger than Frosthaven, weighs more than Frosthaven. It's bigger than the Everdell Complete Collection. I'm looking around all the big boxes, Madara, all of these. Everything is in this one box here. So this is like a complete game of Nemesis with all the extras in one big box. Imagine that. It's got the Blackstone Wash on it. Very excited to dig into this one. This is a boss battler where the bosses are the 7 levels of hell that Dante goes through. So I'm gonna open this up here in a second, just so you can see how things look on the inside. But then we'll dive much closer. You can see that I'm zoomed out so far here. I've got my camera up so high that I can't get my rig out of the shot. That's how big this box is. It's just taking over the whole table. I'm in like ultra wide mode here. So let's get the lid off of this thing. All right, so here we go. You can see a little bit better. This matte black box with the red print. We have one of the kind of little mini lids here. I don't know if this is going to be a multi-layer box or what. We have what appears to be a thank you letter, which again, I always appreciate when companies do this. We've got a storage guide. I love it. I also love the fact that this thing is multiple pages long. This is not just a single sheet of paper. This is what we're getting here, though. You can see limbo, lust, gluttony, greed, wrath, heresy, violence, fraud, and treachery. We're going to have the deluxe terrain in here. We're going to have the champions boards and the neoprene mat. Everything fits in this box, which is just beautiful. Here you can see all of the plastic that comes in this game. I'm just going to have that black stone wash on it, similar to kind of Sundrop, storing the game away. So definitely gonna keep that nearby. We have an assembly guide for the Charon's Ferry, furniture stuff here. Coliseum guide. I don't think this is going to be the rule book. Maybe it is. Okay, yeah, no. Coliseum mode, I believe, is an entirely different mode. Kind of like arena, head-to-head, instead of playing against the bosses. I don't know how deep I want to go here at this level here, but we'll look at these here just real quick. Here are some of the player boards. You can see they're kind of engraved here. You have cards sitting here. Some stuff there. And then these. Must be a slider or something that's going to go in there. Spots for some trays, your large character card, something underneath there. All right, there's something tucked off in the side here. Triad of the Abyss, Pristine Champions Pack. Okay, so these are all the add-ons. Tainted Champions Pack that come with the... These are add-ons. If you just got like the retail version of the game, you could have added those add-ons. So I guess they didn't do a comprehensive rule book, which is fine. Let me just see if I can get this. Wow, this top tray's pretty hefty. Let's just do this. This will be easier. Maybe we don't want to break anything. Some paper. And there you can start to see the Blackstone Wash. Almost looks metallic. I'm okay with the metallic look. It would not have been my choice necessarily. Oh, that's why, because these are 2 different pieces, and this whole thing's coming up. Are these taped together? No, they're not. All right, here we go. Here we go. And then even bigger one over here. I can't even seem to get that off. So this looks like it's a mixture of the terrain. Now these are just washed, which means they're almost like primed. They're just a little too shiny in my opinion. I may like spray these down with some matte varnish so they don't shine as much. But we've got columns here to go in, and all of the terrain you can like pick up and throw, or the bosses can throw at you. You know, the little things of fire there, or like these lamppost things. All of this terrain in the retail version is going to be cardboard, so very similar to like what they did with Descent Legends of the Dark, where you're going to have all this cardboard stuff to interact with. So don't feel like you're going to be without. I don't know how this went in there. Oh yeah, like that. Okay. What is this? Something right there that I don't know what that is, but this is like a gopher or badger or something. I don't know. I don't know what that one is. And obviously then we have some normal characters here. These almost look pewter, which it to some degree does look cool. And the fact that they're washed means I can go ahead and get playing and not have to feel like they all need to be painted. The details are there. The details are popping. So yeah, and I can always come back and paint these later. Some treasure chests. What do we got here? Some kind of creature intertwined with themselves. I'm sure that'll come up. All right, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this giant box out of the way, and we're going to look at stuff progressively, and maybe I'll do a reboxing video zoomed back out here showing everything put back together. So I figured it out. This is a kind of a multi-layer box. So this is kind of the top part of the box. I was trying to get this larger tray out, and it wasn't even coming because it's attached to here. So underneath the one set of miniatures are these cardboard. I don't know if these are dividers or something, but we're just gonna set those off to the side for now and take a look at the rest of what I believe is the kind of primary set of miniatures here. So obviously, you know, these are going to be like the big bosses, and there's Lucifer himself, I believe. Big chest cavity here. Really monstrous looking people here. I don't know what this is. This is like a spear in the ground, or was it Cerberus, the three-headed dog? There. I mean, look, it's huge. It is huge. And we've got some other guys who are decently big here. You know, this also looks like Lucifer. And even some over here that pop out on their own. Maybe this is like, that's like the Carry-On Pack, the Minotaur, Medusa. So maybe that's why this is extra? I don't know. I didn't know if you could get this box without everything being inside, but there must be a reason why these are like this. I mean, this guy's cool. He's literally got like parts of the wall as shields. I mean, he's just a freaking beast. How the hell is this in here? Oh my god. I'm failing already. It's this way. There we go. We got Medusa here. All right. We got some what appears to be a throne. I mean, how cool is that? And some parts of the throne. Like this looks like this goes together in some form or fashion, and then is pulled apart in pieces or something. I don't know. Very, very excited here. We have some trebuchets. What is this? What is this concoction here? Not all these are super easy to get out. Pile of bodies and bones. Some winged creatures there. Something out of Fantasia or something horrible like that. Anyways, so this is kind of what's in the top box. It appears to be mostly miniatures. With these trays here, so this should all be self-explanatory. Everything just kind of is where it is. We'll figure out what these go to. They look like dividers to me. But there you go. There is just the top half of this giant deluxe storage box. Ooh. Within the lid, I know I'm missing the player trays, but I'm just trying to create some space here. All right, we are back to taking in the larger book here. We have an art book, which is a nice touch. It's usually one of those things that comes with these all-in packages, and I'm not as stressed about here. Introduction, quick combat, starting a new game. Confrontation phase, yeah, so I'm guessing this is the rule book, the Book of Commandments. And then we have Book of Chronicles, which is much bigger here. Boom. Yeah, and so this is all like the story mode and the different chapters, so we're not going to dig into that one too much. All right, now we have all of these character packs. Look at how organized we are. We've got some drawstring bags, probably one for each player. Now this is interesting. I thought that these were gonna be washed as well. This is a little disappointing, but these should be easy. This is the kind of 3D terrain, so height is going to be introduced into the game and higher elevations. In the retail box, you're looking at, these are going to be the boxes that are like holding stuff, and you just flip them over and you use the boxes to build your 3D terrain, or you can buy the deluxe plastic versions. So look at all these characters. Man, oh man. The boxes are getting a little beat up, especially over here on the edges. That's a little disappointing. But it looks like these can slide out just like that. All right, so here we have the Tainted Artist all opened up. So there's 4 core archetypes. You know, Artist here is the archetype, and then there's Tainted, Pristine, and the common ones, leaving you 12 total characters. I think there might even be more. Anyways, this is supposedly a crossover character with Grim Coven, or no, Odalin, Dungeons of Doom, from Dragori Games. Anyways, here is the character cards. The back side of them are for if you're playing as companion mode. So if you don't want to manage a full character, you can have your other characters that you don't want to imagine in full be companions, and this simplifies everything down. You don't need all of these other cards, but as you progress through the game, you're going to be upgrading. So she's going to go from a wanderer to a resented wanderer to a resolute wanderer, mournful wanderer, and keep going up and up. And you can see like her stats here will increase, and her stuff changes. And then she's got a reference card here. And then we have, she has a heirloom. I don't know if this is something she starts with or she has to earn. It appears to be, you know, her little hand crossbow here, solo card. And then these are her maneuver cards. So you're going to start with what should be 7 level 1s. And so these are going to stay in the box, and you'll be able to earn these, but you can see they have upgraded levels here. And they should be, like, there should be a break the shell, maybe not. I was under the impression that as you upgraded, say, call to action, there would be a level 2 call to action card. But maybe not, because you're only ever supposed to have 7 cards in your hand. But you're going to be playing these out onto the board, and taking them from top to bottom here. So this one's pretty simple. You or another champion within range 2 removes a sin from their hand. And this fierceness amount up here, we'll talk about here in a second. You move 2 with climb. You may spend these movement points as if they were vigor points to perform the interact and deliver item basic actions. So those are 2 basic actions that you can take, but you have to lose a health. Vigor's your health. And you or another champion at any range receives Invigorate 4, which is renew your health. You earn health back. Empower 4 or Inspire 1. I'm not sure what those other 2 are. Anyways, when you play these cards, this amount up here in the corner is how much you have to move yourself on the fierceness track, which is what the champions in this game, the champions are the bad guys, the bosses use to who are they going to target. So the more and more you make yourself known in the arena, the more you're going to be targeted. So that's a champion one. And then we have these little tuck boxes here for characters like the Minotaur. The Minotaur is part of the Triads of the Abyss. So they don't have their own sin level. They can be pulled in, might be pulled in as special events, or they can be used in the Colosseum mode. So here we can see they have a relic. I'm assuming this is something they earn. You earn if you defeat the Minotaur. Then they have a whole bunch of action cards here. You can see on their sheet here, and I don't know why they did this, but they put this sleeve in the card, or put the card in the sleeve, which is nice, but then this box is really meant to hold that sleeve exactly. There's a nice finger hole there to punch through, but it's kind of bent up the cards here a little bit. So I would advise going through and pulling out all your cards so they don't sit bent any longer than they have to. But you can see that the Minotaur here has arms value and a body value, and very similar to Kingdom Death Monster, which this game is being compared to because of its boss battler nature. You have a set of action cards for both the arms and then the body here. Even more body. I'm not sure how, and then there's some event cards here. I'm not sure if all of these are always going to be out, if you're just going to randomly draw a certain number of these. For example, this says 9 bodies, so maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and leave the rest of these back in the box. But as you do damage to the body, you will remove, say you do 2 damage to him, you remove these 2 cards, those actions are no longer available to the Minotaur, and when you've reduced this entire deck down, you have defeated the body. On the backside is also their counterattacks. So if you fumble your attack, he's going to counterattack you, and you don't necessarily know what these are. I guess you could memorize the cards, but you can see they're different compared to the front side. So here's two insane charges and 2 different counterattacks on the back. So that is kind of how most of the bosses work. So this was a good example, just checking to see what's inside this kind of Minotaur tuck box here. And these then go back in there and like that. It's interesting that these guys don't have, there's not like something right here to match this. The Medusa here is kind of spun around. But anyways, we've got some more trays. Some with lids. Okay, one's got a lid and one doesn't. Interesting. We have our deluxe play mat here. Let's take a look at that. It is double-sided. Here you can see this is like kind of progressively going to create an overworld map here. And then you flip it onto the backside and it's like your arena, you know, where like the throne would be here and maybe there's some walls here and here. This definitely has that like Kingdom Death feel to it with the patterns on the floor. And if you have a retail version, you would just have this in cardboard. So you're gonna get all this. Don't you worry. Here are all of the various chapter packs. And maybe this is where this is, yeah, it must be for each of the characters. I don't want to spoil too much. Let's just see what Limbo looks like here. I love it when they just package these up. Kinfire Chronicles does this. Cthulhu Death May Die does this. So here is the first box for the campaign mode. Limbo. I'm not going to dive too much into this. I don't know why this is here. It's perforated. I don't know if I'm supposed to rip that or not. But anyways, I guess you could. Got some baggies. I guess these are for the cards because there's no tokens, and this game actually has very few, you know, there's almost no cardboard components. We saw the dividers earlier on, and then all of the rest of the cardboard for this version was replaced by, you know, plastic and metallic tokens, or acrylic tokens. If you have the retail version, you're gonna have standees instead of miniatures. You're gonna have cardboard, but still very little tokens in that regard. So we have a boss card, location cards for the kind of exploration phase, then the action cards, events, paths, objectives, and discoveries, and treasures. Okay. So here I don't want to spoil too much, but here you can see one of the, maybe we'll, yeah. So this is where you would start your exploration. This is going to be very similar to Tainted Grail or Seventh Continent, where you're going to be laying out these cards and they will connect to make a large map style picture, and you will explore them. Things will happen to you until you then get to the boss. So the boss for this one will be, for Limbo, is King Minos. And you'll see here, similar to the Minotaur, he's got his throne and then himself. He's got his action cards on the backside of these is going to be the counterattacks. He's got some events there, and then some little mini cards that paths. I don't know how the paths work, or objectives. I believe you can have more than one objective for when you enter and find King Minos. And then there's discoveries and treasures. So that essentially, this is what you're probably going to see in most of these tuck boxes. I guess they're giving you these to put the cards back in so they don't slide around too much in here, because these boxes are kind of bigger than they need to be. I mean, look, that is the size there. Everything almost fits underneath this thing, so maybe that's why this is tucked or divided the way it is, but not sure why they made these so big. I was almost envisioning like there to be some tokens in here once we opened this up, and maybe some of the other boxes do. Let me just peek at one here. Ahead. No? Yeah, it looks like they're all cards in them, so that's interesting. Why they made the boxes the sizes that they did. So yeah, we got, what is it, nine levels here, plus the one-offs. Carrion, I don't know who this guy is. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? The Poet, I think that was a good guy add-on. Medusa, Minotaur, all your heroes. Got 3D terrain right here. Let's pull some of this out. So we've made it to the bottom there. Is this just, yeah, okay. So nothing underneath there. At least I'm assuming. I would hate to pull this whole box out. And then we have these. I'm pretty sure these are for your characters to save in between, save your game. And then we saw the player boards already. So these are empty, but there's a spot for them. All right, nothing underneath them. And then we've got a whole bunch more stuff in here. We've got lots of dice. Look at all the dice. This box is so big, I'm like having trouble leaning over and looking inside here. Capybara, there we go. The polymorphed champion. So that must have been some kind of stretch goal. There's Carrion and Electo. Pythian Spear. What else we got here? We got some very heavy, individually wrapped. Maybe these are for like flipping coins. See if there's a heads and a tails. It's heavy like metal, but it's not shiny. It looks old and weathered, and it is the same on both sides. So yeah, interesting. We've got some little ones. These say 1 and 2s on them. A whole bunch of acrylic tokens here. These come with the hull in pack. I mean, so I guess there's like no cardboard punch outs here. More coins, blue coins. Goodness gracious. Lots of different coin denominations. We're definitely gonna have to find a spot for those. It's like we got some dividers here and a whole bunch of cards. Woo! All right, going through some of the cards here. We have some setup cards. So these are going to be for the Coliseum mode, the kind of one-off events. And you can see they just give you various setups here. Maybe you choose a specific one because they are named here. So I don't know if these are meant to be random, but this tells you where everything is placed on the board. We have some random furniture. So I guess if the scenario is calling for a random piece of furniture, you would just draw one of these. These are basically randomizer cards for the various effects. We have the ultimate maneuvers. So these are going to be for the characters here. You can see this is for the mercenaries. I don't know how you earn these. I'm sure it has to do with the campaign, or that might be in the Coliseum. Actually, you might be able to just go ahead and jump up, because I know there's like advanced attacks and, you know, taking on multiple bosses. So maybe that's when you dive into these. I know a lot of these cards here that we pulled out of that card tray are for the Coliseum mode. We also have advanced actions for all of the bosses. So Artemis, Judas, Cassius, Minos here. We already looked at Minos. So here is his some of more of his advanced cards. So a big stack of these, I guess, if you want to play on hard mode. And we have a couple more here that I don't quite know what these are used for. These are challenge decks, and they're at various levels. There were some additional ones that were added in with the Triad of the Abyss pack, and then also these countdown cards. I have not looked into the Coliseum mode that much because I plan to just be playing through the campaign. And last but not least, I did go ahead and kind of organize these tokens, since they were in so many baggies. Literally every single token was in its own individual baggie, and it was just crazy. So we did look at a few of these. I'm so-so on these. They are, you know, metallic in nature. They don't appear to be acrylic. Let's see, are these acrylic? Yeah, they're all metal. But they're very difficult to see. I don't know how well you guys can make out like the details there. And these are bigger than the rest. I think what I'm probably going to end up doing is dry brushing the edges of these so that the lines pop and then the background color is still there. So these are going to be your fierceness tokens that you'll move around the board. And then the rest of these are, like I said, there's very few markers or tokens in the game. But from what I remember, you know, there's like, from some of the early playthroughs, this was like a larger token. Now it's this tiny little thing here that it's, you're at 1, you're at 2, and then there's a 3 and a 4 side here. And they're slightly different colors, but these are so tiny, but also very difficult to read, in my opinion. So we're definitely gonna have to do something with that. I like the fact that they're metal, that they have some weight to them, but I almost wish that they had also given us, you know, a lot of times when you get the upgraded components like this, they give you the cardboard versions anyways because they're already packed in the box. But I guess if you got this Eternal box that came with the metal tokens, and so they just saved some money probably, and or, you know, these are the ones that we already saw already. They're all the same. I don't know what these are used for, but you know, it's hard to tell what is on these. Anyways, this is kind of always going to be popped out during the games, and it's always going to hold a set of Arcana cards. So these are also came with the Eternal box. They're foil and nice and shiny here. These are going to be people that'll pop in, and I think you'll encounter them during the exploration phase, but then will linger around during the boss phase. And then we have our wound cards. I honestly don't know why this is not wound. This is sin, this is wound. But you can see these are also foil. And then for some reason, I don't know, I'd have to go back and look at all the updates. Maybe we didn't hit a stretch goal, but our sin cards are not foil, which is fine. Honestly, the foil ones are a little hard to read, so maybe we'll just swap them out. But if you have to, if you run out of maneuver cards and have to reshuffle your deck, you have to take a sin card, which clogs up your deck. If you get wounded, you have to take one of these cards, and it's going to sit in your tray and fill up those spots for your maneuver spots. And then we have findings cards, which I believe you will come across as treasures. These are just kind of basic treasures that you'll find during exploration. The rest of these are just tokens that must mean something, but, you know, here's a 2 and a 1. You know, this one also has a 1 on one side and a 2 on the other. So these must mean something. These little star tokens, which have a 2 and a 1. And then these tokens here, which are nice because they're dual colored, red on one side, blue on the other. These are going to be used for your companions. You'll cover up their card, the back side of that card, which had the actions just listed out. You'll cover up something if it needs to cool down, or if they're taking a wound, you would flip it to that side. See, here we have wounded in red, but this is sin in red, and then we have cooldown, but this is the cooldown symbol. So yeah, I don't really understand the color choices here, but that is a look at the tokens and the rest of the cards. So this is everything. And a little preview of what it's going to look like boxed back up, but we will do a full reboxing video because I don't know where the dice are going to go once we get all these cards back in there. So, but yeah, very few components. It's a pretty clean game, looks like. And I think once we paint up the 3D terrain, the boxes, and maybe dry brush some of this stuff, then we should be good to go, and we'll start doing some playthroughs. But anyways, that's going to do it for our unboxing of Dante Inferno, the Eternal Pledge. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Have a great day.